I got the cutest microphone ever. Okay, so I'm so excited about this. I am unwell. Okay, I wanted to talk about some things. I think more than anything, I want to do like kind of a heart-to-heart and update on just like where I'm at right now, because so just looking back over the last couple years of just my healing journey and moving on from narcissistic abuse and a narcissistic abusive partner, long-term partner, and just how far I've come over the last couple years. And let's just do like a quick recap, okay? So like my narcissistic partner left, and I spent like 5-6 months just kind of chilling, and I was going to school full time, and I was really busy, and then I reconnected with an old boyfriend from like 14 years ago, and we started dating, and it moved along really quickly after that. We kind of picked up where we left off. And so, you know, this is like 6 months post breakup, and then got together with him, and we only dated for like 3 or 4 months, maybe 5. I can't remember now. 3 or 4 months, and came to realize, like, looking back on that situation, I just am realizing that not only was I escaping abuse and overcoming abuse, but I was also escaping patriarchy. And I was growing into myself, and I was growing into a new version of myself that was actually very feminist. And I'm still there. That's where I'm at right now. And it's not that I'm like anti-patriarchy in general, like to each his own. I just personally can't exist in that space right now. Just, sorry, you're going to hear my dog bark. He's really annoying. Just due to the trauma involved with like misogynistic trauma and just patriarchy trauma in general for me personally. So I am, you know, I have big goals, big aspirations, big dreams that I'm chasing very intensely right now. And they take priority over everything else. So if I am pursuing a man, I am first pursuing myself, my kids, my goals, maybe some other things, and then a man. So like, although I do prioritize my relationships with men, they are clearly and evidently not at the top of my priority list. And I feel like that makes the men that I'm dating, feel a little small and underappreciated. And I can appreciate that. And so like the reason why me and my ex-boyfriend split, and this would be like 1.5 years ago by now, the reason why we split, I think there was a lot going on that I don't know to this day, because I think that he was keeping some secrets from me that we don't need to get into. But I also think that I was just not making him feel like a man enough. And I think that that's the problem with every man that I've talked to over the last 2 years or 1.5 years, or however long it's been since I've been like talking to men, 1.5 years. So I think that that's the issue, is that I am hyper independent. I really don't need a man. And when a man tries to be a man for me, I'm like, no, thank you. I don't require that of you. I'm good. And I think that just makes them feel like, well, then what am I doing here? Like, what can I actually provide for you? Because men, I think, are naturally like, that masculine energy is to like provide and protect and feel needed, and they like to feel appreciated, and that feminine energy complements that masculine energy in such a beautiful way. And just unfortunately, I'm coming to the realization, and I'm just like accepting this fact that like I'm just not in a place right now to be I don't know, to like nurture something like that. I don't know that I'm operating too much in my masculine. I just need somebody who's more masculine so that they don't feel small next to me, if that makes sense. Because I am definitely very in my feminine, and I know this. Like, I know that I'm in my feminine flow. I just have goals and aspirations that I'm chasing after, like my pants are on fire too. And I'm also just like very invested in my kids and their childhood and myself and our life and lifestyle. So I think that it's just going to take like somebody who's maybe has all those things too, so that he understands me. Because every time I talk to a man, and I have talked to like seriously such amazing men, I cannot speak highly enough about the men that I've dated in the last 18 months. Like, I cannot speak highly enough about them. They are seriously, some of them have been just like blown my mind with how incredible they are as just humans and individuals. And you know, I feel bad that I was not able to like be what they needed me to be for them. That doesn't make me feel bad as a person. I feel bad like for them and for just the situation. Like, I'm sorry. This is an apology to everyone that I've dated. Like, I am sorry that my life and my children and my goals and aspirations have taken precedence over you. And I've like made you feel small and, you know, underappreciated and just like not needed in general. And I didn't give you an opportunity to like provide and protect for me. Because that's just not where I'm at right now. Like, I just don't need that right now. And it's also like pretty triggering. In fact, it's triggering for me to have a man come at me with like that masculine energy of like, let me take care of you. Because to me, it's like, that's threatening. To me, it's like, oh, you want me to depend on you so that you can like lord that over my head later, and you can like use that against me as a weapon to get what you want out of me when, you know, I don't want to give you that thing or whatever. So I'm traumatized by masculine energy, and I'm traumatized by men wanting and feeling like they need to provide and protect for me, because to me, that's like the ultimate threat. And I don't feel safe in that space. So clearly, like, I'm coming to the realization that there's still like a significant amount of work that I need to do on myself. And although I do consider myself like in my feminine flow, I'm not yet comfortable with the idea of certain people providing and protecting me. However, I know that it has to do a lot with like personality traits and like who I feel safe with, because there have been some men that I've been like, yes, please provide for me, protect me. In fact, that ex-boyfriend that I was talking about from a year and a half ago, I was totally in my feminine with him, and I was ready to let him just totally take that role in my life. And he might be one of the only ones. There's maybe been like one or two others that I've been like, yes, I will let you provide for me and protect me and all of the things, because I felt safe with them. So I don't know quite what it is. And I'd probably have to sit and just like reflect and just like write down maybe like the differences in personality traits and like what makes me feel safe versus what does not. And I think that it just comes down to like the things that make me not feel safe are traits that just are a little bit too familiar, and they kind of remind me too much of like a previous abusive partner or a previous abuser. So I find that I feel safest with people who like don't remind me of previous abusive situations. So anyway, so it's really like I can sit here and say like I think it's because I'm not ready for masculine energy to come into my life, but I know for a fact that there have been a couple that I have felt very safe with. And so really, I think that it just comes down to finding the right person. Okay. So over the last year and a half, I spent like almost a whole year single. And that was really good for me. I was just totally focused on school. I was going to school full time, pounding that out, getting my master esthetician's license, and also juggling kids and a very, very aggressive divorce. So like I had a lot going on, and so it was really good for me to not like introduce a relationship at that time, just because I didn't need the added stress. And I just wanted to like focus on myself and my healing and making sure that I'm like good, because when you've got like too much stress going on, like the stress of a relationship can cause you to like tip over and like crash. And I knew that I wasn't in a place where had experienced enough emotional healing to like be able to handle that. And so I waited until I felt like I was ready, and I dated again. And I did get into a relationship, and I don't regret that relationship. It was really good for me. Every relationship that I've had since like leaving my previous partner, like every relationship has just been really good for me for so many different reasons. But this relationship that I had was just really, there was a good balance because it was long distance. And so like it wasn't demanding on me. And I realized like that's actually something that is good for me, to have something that's not very demanding, like a partner that doesn't need to see me all the time or need to be with me all the time, because I can't. And so that was actually, it was like the perfect relationship for me, because I'm a full-time student, I'm a full-time single mom, and I'm an entrepreneur. And so like I have a lot going on that I want and need to put energy into. And so just having like a relationship on the side that was just like purely virtual and for fun was just so great. Like we had so much fun, and it was really fun. Like we just had fun and we laughed, and it was awesome. And then since then, I've dated a couple more people, and really like they've been just outstanding individuals. I've really just come to appreciate like people and the people that are out there, and just the amazing opportunities that I've had for personal growth and development, and just getting to know different people. And and I'm just realizing like after the abuse and leaving the abuse and healing from the abuse, there really is only so much healing and work that you can do on your own. And I think it's actually really good for people healing from emotional abuse, any kind of abuse, after going through that healing on their own, to start healing in relationships, because relationships will bring up different triggers, and it will reveal to you all the areas that are still weak, that you still need to work on. And that's really, really good. And so me approaching dating just over the last like 6 months and now, it's just like, I'm just here for the learning. I'm here for the learning. This isn't my forever. Like if I meet somebody, I'm like, I already know, like you and I aren't going to get married. We're probably not even going to commit to each other. I just want to learn about myself. And so I'm going into these opportunities with that attitude, that mentality of like, I'm here to learn about myself. I'm here to find those weak spots that still need work. And I'm allowing myself to be triggered and experience triggers and work through those triggers and learn more about myself and learn about what I need to continue to work on further. And so like with these last couple of guys that I've talked to and dated, I've just realized like first of all, I'm really proud of my progress so far. Like I've come such a long way. I've learned where I stand with men and my expectations of them. And I'm not really willing to falter or like make space for room for improvement in certain areas as far as like respect goes, my expectations and boundaries. And if I feel disrespected, if I feel to be made small or to be made a fool, or if I find that a certain individual is like humbling me and trying to like how do I say this? There's a certain individual that I was recently dating that I felt like he was just constantly trying to make me feel less. Like he didn't like my confidence and he wanted to like pull me down, back down to earth. And so like those are things that like I will not tolerate. Disrespect. For me, that's like inconsistent communication or wishy-washy behavior, hot and cold, mixed signals, things like that. If I feel used for a certain man's own personal simple pleasures, like there is something that I am looking for specifically that I have not found yet. And so to me, that makes me feel like proud. Like I'm not just settling. I'm not just like taking what I can get. I am experiencing these men and what they have to offer, and I'm experiencing what we would have together, and I'm deciding from there, like, that's actually not what I'm looking for. And that's also not what I'm looking for. And I know what I'm looking for, and I know how I want to feel. And I'm not willing to commit myself to somebody who doesn't give me that thing that I'm looking for, or that thing that I want to feel, like I want to feel like $1,000,000. I want somebody who sees me where I'm at, meets me where I'm at, and like wants to boost me up from there. And I want somebody who's going to be like a cheerleader and support me in my goals. And I want to feel very valued, very respected, and I want to feel like the most special person on the planet to them. So if I don't feel that, I don't commit to them. I just kind of date them for a little bit and learn from them, and it usually just like plays out on its own. When I can tell that it's something that's not meant to be, it usually just kind of fizzles out on its own. So I just let it play out. I learn what I can. I take the lessons and I run with it, and I move on. And that's not to say that like I don't develop attachments to these guys, because I definitely do. And it's hard, like having these guys come and go sometimes, because like I said, like I do develop attachments to them, and I do genuinely appreciate them. Like I really do appreciate who they are and what they have to offer, and just these are really incredible people. I cannot speak highly enough about them. So I'm just really like, I'm very grateful. And at this point, I'm just realizing like I'm just coming home. I'm just coming home to myself. I'm in an in-between phase. I'm in between dating, and I'm just learning to be very, very content where I'm at with myself, and sitting alone and being alone but not lonely, and enjoying my own company and enjoying my own head, like I don't want to run away from my head. I don't want to run away from my thoughts. I don't want to run away from my feelings. I want to feel it all. I want to think it all. I want to be it all, and just learn how to navigate that and just embrace it and let that flow, and create and nurture a healthy flow of emotions and thoughts and experiences, and not be afraid. I don't want to be afraid of myself. I feel like when I or anyone is just like jumping from one relationship to the next, or just constantly feeling like they're the victim and it's always everybody else's problem, like I just feel like the reality is that we're just running from ourselves, and I don't want to be that person. And so Like, I want to make sure that I'm facing myself and looking at myself really honestly and truthfully and taking ownership of myself and who I am and what I am and what's going on with me. And so I think it's really important to take that space in between dating of just like facing yourself. Okay, here's what I learned from this last guy. I learned that, like, let's just take, for instance, the last 2 guys that I've dated that were just like, they were kind of like taking turns. I learned from one guy, like, how I feel, actually from both of them, like, I have learned to value the importance of how I feel with them and how they make me feel, and the way that they behave towards me and what that makes me feel, and the way that they speak about me and to me and how that makes me feel. So, with one guy, I was constantly feeling like really small, really belittled, like I didn't really have much to offer, unintelligent, undesirable for multiple reasons, like all of the reasons, and unattractive, and I didn't like that. I didn't appreciate that. That's not something that I want to feel. And then another guy was just making me feel very disrespected and undervalued. Like, he could get better than me, and he wanted to keep looking and keep his options open. And like, obviously so do I, but I definitely don't want to like feel that way from somebody, especially if I communicate to them, like, look, this is important to me. Like, consistent communication is important to me. You making plans to see me and then follow through with those plans is important to me. That's what communicates respect. That's what helps me feel valued. And when they blatantly do not do those things and like ghost me, then I blatantly feel disrespected. I blatantly feel undervalued. And so like, I don't want to feel those things. Like, I'm not just paying attention to like the great aspects that these individuals have, because they have absolutely amazing traits and characteristics, and I'm sure that we could have something together that we could work on. But like, I value almost above everything else, above their awesome traits, their awesome characteristics, I value most how they make me feel about myself and how I feel about myself when I'm with them, after they leave, after contemplating the experience that I had with them. Like, when I find that I am just feeling like crap, and I'm feeling really down on myself, and I'm feeling undervalued, and I'm feeling like my self-esteem is taking a hit, to me that tells me like that's not something that I should be putting my energy and focus into. And so, because of how hard like I have to work at developing and fostering confidence due to a history of such intense abuse, it's just really important for me specifically to be with somebody who makes me feel like $1,000,000. And that's not to say that like I want somebody who's going to enable my toxic behaviors and not challenge me or call me to repentance or any of those things, because there is a way to challenge an individual in a productive way, not a destructive way. And so I think that it takes like a great deal of respect and love and appreciation for an individual, and just all around just valuing them a lot in order to challenge them in a productive way. Otherwise, it's just destructive. If you don't really respect that person, if you don't really care for them, if you don't really appreciate them, if you really do feel like, you could do better than them, like any kind of challenging them, pushing them to be better, it's actually like counterproductive and it's destructive. So it's important for me to find somebody who really values me, who really appreciates me, and who really loves me, because then they can challenge me in a productive way. because I do want to grow, obviously. Like, obviously I have the growth mindset. Otherwise, I wouldn't be dating. Like, I would just be retreating and hiding. Like, I am dating to grow. That is literally the reason why I'm dating. I'm not even dating to find my forever man, although eventually that is like the ultimate goal. Like, eventually I want to find my forever man, but for now, like, the only reason why I am dating is to learn about myself and to grow. So I don't really necessarily need somebody else to call me out, except for when in the relationship. And that's why it's important. Like, that's why I'm saying that you can only grow so much on your own. And I am working a lot on my own. But after I have figured these things out, after I've gotten to the point where I know I need to be, and there's like really nothing else I can do for myself, then it is necessary to have another person be that mirror to you. And sometimes, I think most of the time, actually, I just feel like they don't even really have to say anything. Sometimes they do, but when you're self-aware and you have that growth mindset and you really do want to grow and you get involved with another person, like, you just realize that when you've been triggered, they're not responsible for emotionally regulating you. So, like, you just need to go take care of that. And so they don't need to tell me, like, hey, you're being triggered right now, you need to go take care of that. They're just showing me just by doing what they do and being that mirror to me that I am self-aware enough to realize, like, oh, I was just triggered and I need to go emotionally regulate. Otherwise, this could blow up. Or for the most part, I can emotionally regulate in the moment with the person while we communicate. So really, like, having a partner help you grow is really just like being a mirror to you, and you just being self-aware enough to realize what you're experiencing. Like, that was a trigger. I don't need to point the finger at them. I need to point the finger at me. I need to see, like, okay, that's an area that I need to do more work, more healing, more growing. And I'm going to work and heal in those areas. I'm going to be aware of this. And I'm still trying to figure out where the balance is of, like, how much is my partner responsible for helping me work through those triggers? Like, do I tell them, hey, this is something that's really triggering to me. I am working on this. It'd be really helpful if you would just kind of be gentle with this. But at the same time, that just doesn't seem fair, because it's like asking them to walk on eggshells. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't appreciate that. If my partner was telling me, like, I need you to walk on eggshells around me when it comes to these topics, I would just be like, bro, I want to be able to just, like, speak freely and be myself freely. Like, take care of yourself. Like, I'm not your mom. So to me, it's just like, how much of that is a partner supposed to be involved in? And a lot of that I'm figuring out on my own, because I wasn't taught these things. So there's got to be a fine line between being a supportive partner versus asking a little bit too much and asking them to be emotionally responsible for you and emotionally regulating you and walking on eggshells and other toxic things. So I don't know. These are things I'm still trying to figure out, and I think that it's going to take, like, just a very gentle and patient partner for me to, like, work through that part of healing. And for instance, like, when I have a partner who wants to provide and protect, and I am triggered, like, I have to look inward and ask myself, like, okay, do they actually have those traits that kind of mirror previous abusers? And that's why I am being triggered right now? Or do I need to just test that ground, like, give him some of that power some of that control and give him space to provide and protect, and just kind of test it out and see how it goes. Like, maybe I'm not going to be in danger. Maybe he's not going to lord it over my head. Maybe he's not going to hold it against me later. Maybe he's not going to make demands and everything comes with a price. And maybe I am perfectly safe because he does just want to provide and protect with no strings attached and no expectations or demands associated. I don't know. So there's still, a lot of room for growth there. Now, dating has been very, very helpful for me to get to know myself, but like I said, spending time alone has been also very, 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 very helpful because it's just allowed me to look at myself without any distractions. Because I think that sometimes when we are running from ourselves, I think that getting involved with another person and the excitement and the addiction and the dopamine, I just think that that's the distraction from ourselves. And so I think that when we are jumping from one guy to the next or one girl to the next, that can be a telltale. What? That can be a sign of a person who's running from themselves, somebody who doesn't want to face themselves, somebody who doesn't want to do the inner work, somebody who doesn't want to look at themselves and see themselves for what they really are and look at those demons in the face and tackle those demons and coexist and all the things. So for me, it's just spending time alone and just realizing how much of my identity was decided for me, and getting rediscovering myself, but also intentionally reconstructing myself. So it's not like I'm allowing this healing to make me into who I am going to be. I am deciding who I'm going to be, and I'm deconstructing who I've always been, and I'm reconstructing intentionally who I want to be, and that comes with just a lot of brain power, just so much awareness all the time. And I've talked about this before in previous videos of just having an image of your hero and writing down what they are, what they look like, what they dress like, what their lifestyle habits are, how they eat, how they take care of themselves, their social circles, who they hang out with, conversations that they have, conversations that they entertain, conversations they do not entertain, the type of people that they date, the type of people they definitely do not date, and just making a list and just creating an avatar of your ideal self, your highest self, and then just every single day acting like that person, even though you don't necessarily feel like you're them yet. You just take it moment by moment, day by day, here a little, there a little, or all the time, 24/7, which gives you a headache, trust me, but it's worth it. So it's baptism by fire, and you just constantly live as if you were already your higher self, and you just make choices and you act. You do not react, you act, and you're constantly acting, and you're being very intentional. You're intentional about your thoughts, you're intentional about your feelings, and when you can't control your thoughts or your feelings, you're sitting with yourself and you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're asking yourself, why, what, okay, how, and what do I need to do, and what does that look like, and let's start doing it. I don't want to get out of bed, but I'm gonna. I don't want to shower and do my makeup, but I'm gonna. I don't want to go for a run, but I'm gonna. I don't want to eat healthy, but I'm gonna. And just you do the things that your highest self would do, even though you don't feel like it, even though you don't feel like you're there yet, you haven't yet arrived. You're just kind of pretending, and practice makes perfect, and you're just going through these motions that that will eventually get you to where you want to go and where you want to be. And there's a lot of emotions that goes into this, feelings of betrayal from yourself and from loved ones, individuals, trusted people, religion, society, community, just so much betrayal, and grieving grieving the life that you've led up to this point by being this previous version of yourself, and grieving also the life that you thought you were going to have now that you've had to kill that version of you. And now you're also grieving in a sense the life that you now have to live, because a lot of it is ugly. Even though you are escaping abuse, even though you are escaping patriarchy, like a lot of these changes are not pretty, especially as a woman, as a single mom. Like, now I have to grieve what would have been financially secure and comfortable, and now I have to like slave and claw my way to the top, and I have to fight like a freaking demon. I have to become a demon, and I have to grieve this. I have to grieve the soft girl, like the soft passenger princess that I was before, and the little, soft, comfortable life that she would have enjoyed financially, right? Not in any other way. Only financially. So I would have had everything provided for me, and I would have been comfortable, and I probably would have had more than enough to be comfortable, and traveled the world and had all of the things, and Botox or whatever. And now I'm going to be like wrinkly and haggard and clawing my way to the top, and doing it with a lot of weight on my back. And to me, that makes me angry. So there's the feelings of betrayal, there's the feelings of grieving, there's the feelings of angry associated with all that. Angry about the betrayal, angry about the grieving that's taking place, and just angry that I was indoctrinated to believe that I was supposed to play this role as a soft passenger princess and just take every hit. Just bend over and take it, and just take every single hit, no matter what it did to me, no matter how destructive it was, not just to me, but to my offspring, and passing on that generational trauma. And I'm angry. I'm angry because that was my reality. I'm angry that I was born into that I was bred into that I was indoctrinated and lied to. And I'm angry that I bought it. I'm angry how long I bought it for. I'm angry that it took me so long and so many years and so many kids later, and all the sacrifices that I made, quitting my college education and taking the passenger princess seat. Like, I am angry, and I'm angry now about the society that has been set up that is not conducive to single motherhood, and it does not support single motherhood, and it's very hard and borderline impossible for single moms. And so we have to fight like dragons, and we have to fight like devils, and we have to become devils, and we have to be devils, and it just sucks. I don't want to be that. I want to be a soft girl. And it's interesting because then I'm also finding like a way to blend and marry the two. Like, I'm a dragon and I'm a devil when I need to be. I'm a soft girl. I'm in my feminine, and I'm in my flow. And so I have to find where those worlds meet, and when I need to be her versus when I get to be her. And so I'm angry. I'm angry about the way that society is built, the way that the system runs, and the way that I have to change the very nature of myself in order to survive. That makes me angry. So we've got the betrayal, we've got the grieving, we've got the anger, and then there's the whole acceptance. And I feel like the thing is about this whole experience is that it's not linear, and healing is not linear, and it's not clean. It's not like, okay, we moved past that part, now we're here. No, you're going to jump. And it's a roller coaster. You're going to feel angry one day. You're going to feel acceptance the next. You're going to feel denial another day. You're going to feel bitter. You're going to feel like you're grieving, and then you're going to feel like you're accepting and you're fine. So it's like, it's not linear. It's not linear. You don't just feel the grieving and then you're done with it and you move on to acceptance. No, you feel all of them all the time. Different days, different times of days, depending on when you were triggered, how you were triggered, if you were triggered, or whatever. Like, when I get the bills, that's when I'm triggered, and that's when I'm angry. And I'm angry and I'm grieving, and I feel that devil in me. and the devil takes the driver's seat. And so, the whole thing, the whole process is just, it's very sloppy, it's very messy, and it's not clean, and it doesn't make sense, and you can't really explain it, and you don't really understand it yourself, and it's uncomfortable, to say the least. It's very uncomfortable to live on a roller coaster. I'm sorry about my dog. He's so annoying. I don't know if you can hear him with this thing, but he's really loud. So it's really uncomfortable. And that's the thing that I'm having a really hard time, getting comfortable with. Having a hard time getting comfortable being uncomfortable all the time. I just don't like the feeling of being so uncomfortable all the time. It just drives me nuts. So I don't like the inconsistency. I don't like that it's not linear. I don't like being on a roller coaster. In fact, that is why I escaped abuse to begin with. I am running away from the chaos. I'm running away from the roller coaster. I want to be on the row your boat gently down the stream era. Can we not? But no, when you escape abuse and you're a single mom and you're a woman in a patriarchal society, you do not escape the roller coaster. You just choose that roller coaster. You choose that roller coaster over that one. And somehow that is more empowering, because we were not choosing this roller coaster, right? They say that they like to blame the victim. You were there. You chose it. You stayed. You enabled, blah, blah, blah. Okay. We did not choose that roller coaster. We chose this roller coaster. And so there's this empowerment that comes from choosing this roller coaster and just taking ownership. And yes, the bills come and the expectations are there, and the societal, the weight is really heavy. And there are days where I want to punch a hole in the wall. I want to punch 10 holes in the walls, and I want to, burn the system. But ultimately, I'm yes, I will take this roller coaster. I will take clawing my way to the top with the weight of everything on my back. I will do that. I will choose this over that any day. This is me taking my power back. This is me choosing my life. This is me making what I want out of my life. I am going to school full time. I'm getting my degree. I'm securing a good, promising career and future. I'm setting this example for my kids. I'm breaking generational trauma. I'm showing my kids what can be, what is, that's not the only reality. This is also reality. In fact, if you want, you can create whatever reality that you want. And we're going to cheer you on in the process. Identity is what you decide it to be. It's not decided for you. You get to create your own identity, and guess what? You can change your mind at any time. Oh, I was this for 10 years, but now I want to be this. Cool. Over here, your identity is decided for you, and you are beat into submission. And I'm not going to let my kids follow my footsteps. I hope that some of them at least remember that, so that they can compare, right? And they can realize their brains will expand, and they'll be able to see that there are broader horizons. And setting this example and showing them that you can be the master of your fate, that you can be the creator, the writer of your story, the author of your own story. So you choose the roller coaster over having that roller coaster chosen for you. And that's very empowering. That's very comforting. I like this. I like this idea. Over here, it's ugly and it's messy and it's scary and it's unfamiliar. And I don't really know how to navigate it yet. And it's really messy. But I'll tell you what, sitting with myself, facing my thoughts, facing my feelings, asking myself the hard questions, not running from myself, not looking for distractions in men and dating, has shown me who I am, who I want to be. It has improved my confidence. It has expanded my capacity. And that is something that was surprising. Sitting with myself, choosing this roller coaster, abandoning this older version of me, setting it on fire, burning it up to ashes, creating something new has expanded my capacity in all of the ways. I now have more capacity to make space for other people and their experiences. It's not overwhelming to me because I'm no longer running from myself. When you run from yourself, you're running from everybody else. When you make space for yourself, you can make space for everybody else. Your connections are more intimate, more meaningful. You build a community that's valuable and intimate. And those connections are valuable. And you expand your capacity for your children's experiences, and you can make space for them, and you can handle their heavy, their darkness, because they come with their own. And you can make space for a partner and their experiences. So I would say that sitting with yourself, coming home to yourself, taking that time is almost just as, if not more productive than learning from dating, learning from spending time with other romantic interests, because it forces you to listen to yourself, listen to your own thoughts, pay attention to your own feelings, your experiences. It expands your capacity in so many ways. So I don't know that this episode makes any sense. I don't even know what to title it because it is like all over the place. Maybe we should just title it The Roller Coaster because, wow, we came from here. Somehow we ended up over here. But basically, that's just been what I've been going through lately. I have been learning a lot from dating. I'm very appreciative of all the men that I've dated recently. They've been awesome, and they've taught me some really amazing lessons, and I'm so grateful for that. They've awakened myself to myself and the weak spots that I have and where I need to put more work. They've encouraged me to come back home to myself, and coming home to myself has just been really, really, really good for me. And making space for my own experiences and understanding and growing that capacity and just taking full ownership of this roller coaster that I'm choosing, that I have chosen, and that I'm going to continue to choose for myself, for my children. And just realizing how much like patriarchy and patriarchal society and my upbringing and the culture and society that I come from that shaped me, they created my identity for me. They assigned that identity to me, and just setting it all ablaze and how uncomfortable that is, and just all of those experiences, the grieving, the betrayal, the anger, and just recreating and reconstructing something new and amazing and incredible over here. And it is such messy, icky, gooey work, and it's really, really hard, and it's really draining, and it just takes a lot out of me. And if this resonates with anyone, I would love to know, because sometimes I just feel like I'm alone in this. I know I'm not. There's no way I'm alone in this, but like, it just feels that way. I just feel like everywhere I go and everybody that I talk to, I'm like, either you're still sleepwalking and you don't know what the heck you are or who the heck you are, and your identity was assigned to you and you've just kind of taken it, or you know exactly who you are and you love that identity and you have accepted the identity that was assigned to you. And for me, I'm just like, why am I like this? Why is this me? Why is this my story? Why am I setting ablaze everything from the first 30 years of my life? Why am I doing that? Why? Why is this me? Why am I this person? And why can't I just be content? Why can't I just love being passenger princess and love being small and having things decided for me and just why can't I be that? Why am I not that? Why am I this? Why do I have to be like this? I don't know. And that's another part of the experience is like sometimes I'm just so frustrated with myself. Like why am I doing this? Why can't I just love being a little passenger princess and living small and being small? Why am I here? Why is this me? Why am I rocking the boat and burning everything? And why am I experiencing so much destruction and reconstruction and grieving and anger? And why? I don't know. Sometimes I'm just so frustrated with myself and I don't even understand why I'm here and why I feel like I have to do this. Why? Why? Oh, somebody help me. Send help. She is unwell. Anyway, if there's anybody else out there who just totally gets this, please let me know I'm not alone. Anyway, I think that concludes today's episode.